always great catching up with my next guest, but this interview is even better because we're actually talking about a UFC debut here. He's going to be taking on Robert Valentin, UFC Fight Night, April 5th. It is right around the corner. It's Torrez Finney back here on the program. Torrez, how you doing, man?
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I'm always happy to be on this show here with you, James Lynch. And yeah, man, thank you for bringing me on once again. Let's do it. We've done so many.
I know.
2023, so I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I am as well. And this interview too, just so you know, I don't even think I mentioned this to you. This is for Spectation Sports. So of course, the cool thing is we have all your fights from back before you got in the UFC, other than the Contender Series ones. But I mentioned it there. You know, the debut is almost around the corner. Like, are you getting excited now? Because I know it's been such a long road to get here, and now we're almost there on that big debut.
Yes, man. Look, I'm excited, but I say this to one of my teammates yesterday. I was like, look, I'm treating this no different than how I've treated all my other fights, man. I'm keeping it even keel because once we get in, it's me, another guy, and the referee in there. So I keep that same mentality no matter how big the stage is. And, yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'm excited for a UFC debut. I'm excited for the fight week. I'm just really joyful to be able to just experience this entire thing. Obviously, the fight is the main thing. Get to the fight, get the win, and see what happens after. But right now, I'm just excited and can't wait. Training camp been going so well, so yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's a bit of a pecking order in the UFC as far as getting fight books. I imagine you wanted to fight a little sooner than the last one. I'm assuming if you could have it your way.
Yeah, my goal was I was trying my best to get on the card in February, maybe even March. But they got me April, so I was like, I'll take it because if in all honesty, like the last 2 years, I haven't fought in February or March. Has been just around April or May. Right. My goal every year is to try to get at least 3 fights, and even regionally, it was hard for me to get fights. So it's like, I'm trying to get in there as fast as possible, to like expand it out throughout the year. So yeah, that's my goal. That is.
Well, and saying that, this got to feel like a bit of a home game, right? You're back in the Apex, so I know eventually you'll get that fight with the UFC crowd. But does that? I guess from like a visualization perspective, there's going to be a lot of things familiar when you make that walk, right?
Yeah, man. I tell people because people have already asked me. Yes, I don't understand. It's the UFC now, but I've been on the Contender Series 3 times. It's no different. It's the same thing. Obviously now I'm gonna have a walkout. Obviously now there's gonna be announcements beforehand. A lot of different things, but it's the same thing. I don't treat it really no different. And yeah, I love the fact that we're fighting in the Apex. I'm excited for the opportunity. And yeah, to have that first official UFC fight on your resume and first official UFC win on the resume. That's one of those things that really makes you a UFC fighter. I've heard amongst other UFC guys, you're not a UFC fighter until you get that win. So that's that goal for me.
Any other opponents in the mix, or were you only offered Robert as an opponent? Were there any other names being thrown out or no?
No, I had a potential short notice fight in January. Okay. Against Zachary. It was the week of the fight. His guy pulled SD Dumas had pulled out. Yeah. And I couldn't make that cut in a week's time span. It would have been awesome to go in there and fight that fight in California, but making a cut in the time of 6-7 days. I'm a bigger guy, as most people would see. So that's hard for me to make that type of cut on short notice. But that was really the only other offer. And then, obviously the opportunity coming up against Valentine.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And plus, like, it's been such a long road to get here. Yeah, it'd be nice to have like a full camp, like a proper UFC debut instead of, there's so much buildup, right? Like 3 times a Contender Series, and then it's like short notice. That would have kind of taken away from it, I think, too. So I think you made the right call anyways, right? So there you go. All that Christmas eating, I'm sure, paid off.
It did. That's one of the main problems. You got Thanksgiving and Christmas back to back.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of tough to make January. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's talk about Valentine. 14-fight veteran, only 4 more fights than you, right? So, not a ton of an experience gap there, but just stylistically, how are you looking at this fight?
I really like the matchup for myself. I've watched everything of Valentine. He's a gritty. I mean, when you talk about the definition of a fighter, he's a fighter. He's a guy that's very gritty. He comes out hard. He's a guy that try to make it bleed. I've watched also the things that he had on The Ultimate Fighter, saying he likes to try to spill blood to the gods, and it's like that's the thing he likes. So he's a guy that's very opportunistic, as I would say. He definitely creates a lot of different things off sometimes scrambles and makes something out of nothing. But he's a solid fighter, but he's the definition of a guy that just comes and fights.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, well said. Now, for camp, it looks like you're back home for this one in Nashville, because I know you did do some training in Vegas as well. So take me through what camps look like leading into this fight.
So yeah, I did majority of my entire camp in Orlando, Florida. I was at Fusion XL. With,
oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Okay.
That's why I did my entire camp, because a little bit of breaking news. I'm no longer affiliated with Agogi.
Okay.
We have a new gym now. We're Scrapyard MMA. Matt Harris, he's still the head coach. We're still with me, Trevor Peak. A lot of those guys, we're still all together. So, Matt Harris is still my head coach, but I did the bulk of my training camp at Fusion XL, and I'm going to have Julian Williams, who's been in the corner for Jacare, Rodolfo, my legends of the sport. He's been in the corner for a lot of guys, and it was great to be out there in Fusion XL to have the expertise of those guys to be able to really help me out for this training camp. So it was really good. So many high-level guys, like I said, Rodolfo Vieira, Phil Rowe, even guys that got coming up, guys like Buffer Sheffield and some other guys. They have a lot of really good guys there at that gym, and it just made me even better as a fighter. So it's really good to really go with a lot of those guys there, man. And I'm growing, and I can't wait to showcase it on April 5th. Why
did you choose that gym specifically? Like, what was the connection? How did you decide that, hey, this is where I want to do my camp for this fight?
Well, one, I've been in the Fusion XL on multiple occasions throughout my career. It was funny enough, after my first ever pro fight, my management team first round sent me out there for 2 weeks just to get some training in. Obviously that was really my first ever true cross training experience. And it was one of those things that felt like home a little bit. When you can go to a gym or go to a certain place and you feel that very same energy that you feel at your own home gym. And I felt that same thing at Fusion XL. So obviously after the things that happened between me and my old gym, I had to find a new one that would also give me that same push. And Fusion XL was one of those gyms. So it's been a blessing to be able to go out there with all those guys, man, and learn from those guys. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. Any thought of moving out there? Or are you gonna just do your camps there and still stay close to home?
It's coming to it's coming to thought. Nothing for sure, but I definitely love going out there. I definitely will be out there a lot more often as well. But I'm also loving what we're doing here in Chattanooga with Scrapyard MMA. I think we definitely can continue to build something. Like, it's a split for me between both gyms, because both things provide something that I really like from both. And but who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, exactly. Don't close the door on anything. And then what about the cut now? Because you got a full camp for this one, so I'm assuming everything's going A-OK ahead of the big debut.
Yes, sir. The cut's going really good. Yeah, the weight's getting down off tremendously. I got my nutrition, Brian Ring. He's helping me out really good. The cardio's feeling really good. The weight's doing really good. I feel really strong. So I really can't wait. I'm just so excited. And man, it's actually real. You would have never told me this in 2020 that a brother like me would be having a UFC debut, let alone fighting MMA in itself. So it's all still surreal to me every day that I continue to train. So I'm like so excited.
Good. Yeah, I can tell. Your corner then, will Julian be in your corner? Who's going to be in the cage with you for your debut?
Yes, sir. I'm currently having Matt Harris and Julian Williams in my corner. So those guys are going to definitely be in my corner. Also, Sterling Peace as well. He's one of my old coaches as well. I'm thinking I'll have him in my corner as well. And if some things don't materialize, something about somebody else. But yeah, currently for sure, Matt Harris and Julian Williams will be in my corner.
There we go. How's this fight playing out on April 5th? How do you see it going down?
Well, you already know me. You already know every time they ask me this question. I never make predictions, but one thing I will guarantee, my hand will be raised at the end of that night. And, the beautiful thing that I feel like for both of us, because Valentine was a huge star on this past season of The Ultimate Fighter. Funny enough, the same show that I was supposed to be on, but it didn't happen. But thank God for the route that he provided for me. But he was on Ultimate Fighter, big star. Obviously me, the 3-time Contender Series winner. For us to open up the main card, I think that's really awesome. And, it looked like the UFC is really looking at us as some guys to carry on from this. So, not a lot of guys get a chance to just be on the main card like this. So I'm taking this as an opportunity. I'm really excited. But yes, I guarantee my hand will be raised at the end of the night.
So you mentioned it there, obviously big debut and all that. I imagine you want to keep active, right? Like get this momentum going and all that. Is the plan, 3 fights a year? Is that sort of ideal for you?
Yes, sir. 3 fights a year, and I'm going to go already put this out right here. I'm going to say it after my fight. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it as many times as I can get the platform to do it. But UFC, please, without a doubt, put me on the Atlanta, Georgia card.
Okay.
That is my home state. My hometown is an hour away. I would, bro, me fighting in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm telling you, it would just be unreal. Like, I know my entire city, my entire family. I have family in Atlanta. I have family because I've just saw reports about the Atlanta, Georgia card on June 14th. It would be astronomical. I mean, bro, like, I'm telling you, it would be epic. I know for a fact I am a Georgia boy. I live in Georgia right now. Like, put me on the Georgia card. Yeah. That is for sure. You talking about an early Christmas present for me? That is something that I would love to do.
Okay. It's out there in the universe. Let's see if the universe gives it back. Quickly before we go, a guy I know you've wanted to fight. Just got another fight booked. Bo Nickel. He's fighting Reiner to Ritter. What do you make of that matchup? Do you think that's too much of a step up, or do you think Bo will be able to get it done in that fight? What are your thoughts on that matchup?
That's an interesting matchup, because I definitely think the Ritter, in my opinion, is a little bit better than Paul Craig on the ground. So this is a very similar matchup in a way to how it was against Paul Craig. But I think the Ritter would be a lot more aggressive than a guy like Paul Craig. Yeah. And I've watched some of the Ritter when he used to fight in one, and he's no slouch. You got to remember, he was a 2-division world champion. Bo Nickel, this is a huge step up. And I'm going to definitely be in that card because my teammate Trevor Peak is fighting in Iowa, so I'll definitely be there for that card. So I get to see that in person. And, yeah, I definitely think the Ritter, to be able to sub a guy like Gerald Miscart, Gerald Miscart is really, really good in his jiu-jitsu. Granted, it was third round, but he subbed him. And will the Ritter be able to take Bo down? Maybe not. But when you put guys on the cage make anybody an equal level of a wrestler. So I definitely think he'll probably have pressure on Bo and try to put Bo on the cage to get takedown, which allow grappling sequences, which can lead to subs. So I can definitely see the Ritter doing that. It being in his game plan, and heck, I'm seeing Bo, do a lot of different things, working on jiu-jitsu, working with certain guys in Texas, like on 18 and maybe not 18, freaking with Gordon Ryan and all these guys and stuff. But I definitely think the Ritter has the edge, in my opinion. This is a tough fight. Unless Bo gets him on the feet. I mean, I just saw Bo not take a guy down because he feared the jiu-jitsu. And then some people say he wanted to sharpen strike, which is understandable, but I just don't ever think you get away from who you are. And this is another fight. Don't ever get away from who you are. And I think for his avenue, he needs to take the Ritter down and ground him out, beat him up. But the Ritter is dangerous, so it'll be a good fight.
This is a great interview, as always, Torrez. Appreciate it, man. We're looking forward to it. The big debut, UFC Fight Night, April 5th. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yes, sir. First, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for just giving me the ability and opportunity to continue to do what I do every day. And yes, I want to thank my team, Scrapyard MMA, Matt Harris, Nikki Peppers, those coaches there, all the team there. I also want to thank Fusion Excel. That's also my team, Julian Williams, Phil Rowe, Hadolfo, all those guys that have helped me out tremendously, man. I want to thank all the people that have helped me out throughout, all my sponsors. I have a lot of sponsors, so I just want to thank all of y'all. Y'all been so supportive to me and my family, my mom, my dad, my granddad, grandma, my entire family, uncle. Y'all have been aunties. Y'all have been so beneficial to getting behind a brother for his career. So, yes, I'm thankful to everybody that's been on the journey with me and continue to get on the journey. And, yes, I'm excited for April 5th, and let's go do the darn thing.